Studio. I'm your host Barnaby Chadwick, and after the valiant efforts of education, sport, welfare and activities, nearly got there, it's time for the presidents to stand up to the podium and have their say. So it's candidate question time 2014. And the running order for today is as follows. The candidates will come up to the podium and have a 2-minute speech each, and after that they will be receiving questions for both the individual and the groups, and basically those will be questions from you. But I'm not doing this on my own. I'm doing this from Social Media HQ with Kathleen. How are you doing over there, Kathleen?
Hello Barnaby, yes, I'm Kathleen here in Social Media HQ with my team tonight. We'll be taking your questions all night. You can get in touch through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and through our anonymous form on the KTV website using the hashtag CQTPresident. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. Well, and don't forget, guys, this is the big deal. These are the big kahunas. These guys, their policies and their manifesto points are definitely going to affect your time here at university. So if you have something to say to them, please do get in touch with the hashtag CQTPresident. That's on Facebook or Twitter, or if you're on YouTube, just let us know through the comments. So, without any further ado, we're going to move on to the speeches, and first up to the podium is Rashida. Rashida.
Hi, I'm Rashida Adekunle, and I'm running to be your president. If these elections are based on who has the most knowledge of Kent Union's history, don't vote for me. But if you want someone who will fight for a greater change in the union, I'm the only candidate who can guarantee that. I'm a massive supporter of Kent Union, but I want the union to be more than just the union. I want it to be your union. I will act as a voice for the everyday individual student, for the people with smaller voices who are less likely to be heard, and for those who feel they don't have a voice at all. I will be your megaphone. I may be the ethnic minorities officer, but I'm also very aware that being an ethnic minority is not the only way to feel alienated. The isolation of an individual is being part of a minority in itself, and those are the people who I'm doing this for. This is why I've chosen to look at financial aid for struggling students, regardless of economic background. I aim to introduce care packages that will be available to students anonymously. I want to introduce funding that is adequate to the situation a student is in at the time. Sometimes we don't need a full grant or loan. Sometimes we just need £10 for a book or £1 for toilet roll. I feel it's also important for university students to have a strong presence in the community. I want to provide more diverse programs and opportunities for people who have a heart for change in society. And I also want to introduce a befriending program for old and young people in the community. Nevertheless, I have always lived by the principle that the world owes you nothing. I have strived for every achievement that I want in life, and believe me, nothing has come easy. The experiences we have in life, good or bad, help us to grow and better us. You are in control of your union. It is down to you to vote for the candidate who you want to support. I want to hold true to what you believe in, and that's why I'm running for president. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rashida. Next up to the podium is Chris. Chris.
Hi there, I'm Chris Bull, running to be your Kent Union president. It all started in Darwin College 3.5 years ago. Shy, timid, lacking in confidence. Yeah, that was me. I kept myself to my room and I struggled to open that door. I joined the athletics club late in my first year. I was reluctant at first, though somehow I found my way onto the committee. This was merely the start. I was surrounded by a fantastic group of people. I felt an integral part of something for the very first time. I grew both in confidence and in self-belief, as did the club I loved. Another year passed and I was elected to become the vice president. The four walls that once surrounded me were now a distant memory, but one that kept my feet firmly on the ground. It then struck me, if it wasn't for the club, I wouldn't have left that room that day. Some would say the club saved me, allowing me to grow and to flourish, but most importantly, I was able to be myself, to be the Chris Bull that stands before you today. I then realised that it wasn't just the club that helped me. We were part of something bigger. We were part of Kent Union. Like the majority of you out there, I didn't know what Kent Union was or what Kent Union did, but once I did, there was no looking back. I discovered an opportunity to make change, an opportunity to stand for what I believed in, an opportunity to be myself. You'd be amazed at the amount of people and the amount of students that don't make it out of their room, and fundamentally how important sports and societies are. Everyone should have the same opportunity as I did, the opportunity to be themselves. It's why I ran to be your Kent Union VP Sports, and it's why I'm running to be your president. This year, as your VP Sports, I've been fortunate enough to start many conversations regarding issues that directly affect you and will fundamentally improve your time at university. I've started positive conversations regarding greater sports pitch provision, the potential for a swimming pool on campus, to retain Elliott Hall for society use, for a brand new student union building, for Medway, extended library as the C4 development, and fundamentally a student union that will be run by you. Rather than looking back, let's now look forward. Let me finish those conversations and make your university experience the best it can possibly be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. And we're going to move over to David. David, the podium is yours.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Dave Kokoza. I'm Mature Students Officer for Kent Union. I volunteer as a skills trainer as part of the Standout Sessions programme, and I'm a second-year film studies student, actively involved in student media, as well as a number of societies, such as Salson and Abacus. I've campaigned on improving the representation of over 4,000 mature students, providing more events to all student groups to get involved in union activities, and improving employability at university for everyone. I want every student to have the chance to enjoy their time at university, and this is why, as Union President, I will ensure that there are events for every student group during Welcome Week and throughout the year, with more social and academic support and broader engagement with sports and societies. I want you to be rewarded for the successes that you have and recognise your achievements either through academia or positively representing the university. And that's why if you vote for me, there will be more awards, like discounted entry for sports teams to venue if they win an important match, vouchers for students who demonstrate high attainment, or even just celebrating your success with you as a union. I want our sports clubs and societies to be rewarded for the money they spend with Kent Union. And so I will introduce a money-back scheme, where a percentage of all the money that you spend through your sports and societies clubs goes back into the account at the start of each term, by introducing loyalty cards that track the spending, so your club is rewarded appropriately. I will be a visible face to every Kent student, ensuring that your views and your opinions are valued and put into action. I believe Kent can do so much more to work with the local community that surrounds our campuses. As Union President, I will introduce the Kent Union Discount Card, a scheme that allows students to get special offers and discounts with small local businesses that need students to come to them, such as a local hairdressers, a butcher's, a small coffee shop. I have a proven track record on campaigning for the rights of students and achieving positive change for all students group. I'll be honoured to have the privilege of you being your union president so I continue this work next year. Vote Dave Kokoza.
Thank you very much there, Dave. And now we're going to move over to Samuel. Samuel.
Oh, hello, people of the internet. I'm Sam Hughes-Narborough. You can check out the Facebook, Sam Hughes-Narborough, no, not Sam Hughes-Narborough, facebook.com/Sam4UnionPres. I'm running a fairly simple campaign. We've just got 3 main points, really. We're looking to reduce the price of beer back down to at least what it was last year on campus. There's been a 15% rise in that over the last year, which is far above the rate of inflation, and we just don't think this is really a good way for the university to be operating when it's supposed to care about its students' costs. We also want to do a price match in essentials. We know this is possible because one of the candidates last year, in fact the person who finished second, ran the campaign based entirely on the fact that essentials can do a price match. We would also like to look at doing things for the international students as well with essentials, in terms of maybe getting something organised so that they can order in international food, maybe once a month, once a week. We will look at the cost. The other things that we're looking at doing, for the Medway students, we'd like to potentially get more buses, particularly late on a night, so that we can involve them in the nightlife of Kent. It's very difficult to come down from Medway to go to the venue or something like that, because you can't get home. It's very difficult, very costly, very expensive. A bus, even if the students do have to pay a small contribution towards that, is something we can easily run. With the price match for essentials and the cheap booze as well, it's not that we're encouraging irresponsible drinking with the cheap alcohol. Far from it. We think that if the students drink on campus, they're in a much safer environment, they're around the friends who are moderating the behaviour, and it would boost the campus life and the atmosphere of the university for all. We believe that this is definitely the case. Have I got any other points there? No, like I say, it's a fairly simple campaign. We do the only thing we want to do really is talk to you people, to the students, find out what you actually want. As far as I'm aware with the people I talk to, they want cheap beer, they want cheap food. Stack it high, sell it cheap, get it all out the door, make the money back on volume. So if that's what you want, you should vote for me. And if you've got anything else you want, just come talk to me. I'm going to be on campus for the next week or so. So, you know, come talk to me, come find me, come talk to the people who are campaigning for me. We'll get something sorted. Oh, one other thing. If you've got Twitter, get on Twitter and go, what is it here? Hashtag yes, pimp my summer ball, and then put a space and then put
Samuel, I'm afraid I'm going to cut you there. You reached time, but thank you very much. Thank you very much there, Samuel. So, Darius, you're next.
Hello, my name is Darius, and I'm running for the position of the president.
Sorry, Darius, I'm going to stop you there. Don't worry. Take your time. Audience, could I ask you to turn your phone off completely? No interference, nothing like that. Thank you very much. Darius, sorry about that, as you were.
Let's try it again. Hello, my name is Darius, and I'm running for the position of the Kent Union president with a vision of creating an environment where students have more opportunities to earn, to develop, and more importantly, engage with each other. I aim to create more opportunities for employment and ensure that jobs on offer not only help pay the bills, but also benefit students through helping them developing the skills and also the confidence that's going to be necessary to work in a more engaging roles in the future. But students have only a limited amount of time they can spend on earning money. Many trusts and funds exist with the aim of supporting students financially. I will increase the awareness of these organizations and set up advice sessions to help students find and apply for the organizations that are relevant to them, ensuring they have the best chance of securing extra funding for their degree. However, money is not everything. I envision a university where volunteering is even more common among students. I will ensure access to a larger number of volunteering opportunities on and off campus, a better website for interacting with the ENV scheme, and more importantly, a mobile application developed by students themselves to enhance student experience. As a society president, I am aware that dealing with paperwork is unavoidable when running a student organization. I aim to reduce the complexity of the current system by putting all the necessary information and forms online while reducing the time it takes to process the requests, so societies can spend more time engaging with the activities rather than the paperwork. Societies are also facing limited access to the state-of-the-art facility due to the slow and cumbersome booking system. If implemented, the new system will offer a quicker and easier way to book rooms, ensuring that the rooms are available, are being fully utilized, and students are not left scrambling for empty space for their activities. And I do know my aims are big, but with your help, I can deliver them without fail.
Thank you very much, Darius. Sorry for the interruption. But we move straight on to Tammy. Tammy, you're next.
Hi, I'm Tammy Naidu, and I'm running to be your next union president because I think it's time for a union for every student. I want social events, building a campus and community you can feel comfortable in, and fighting for an education worth the tuition fees. As Keynes College president this year, I have seen firsthand the issues that students have faced. Everyone has a different idea of what university life should be, and we need a union that works in a way which is flexible and puts our students' needs at the heart of what it does. Around 20,000 students go to the University of Kent across our 2 campuses, but we are for accommodation, for safety, and for our union. These different sections will allow me to help make being at University of Kent the best it can be. Some specific points are lobbying the university to offer financial support to students struggling to put down deposits for off-campus housing, organising a fixed-price taxi fare with local taxi companies for safer and cheaper travel to and from campus, introducing mobile phone charging facilities in the library, making the early bird gym membership available when September student loans come in, introducing a venue pass, offering free or discounted entry to some venue nights, free cloakroom and drinks deals. The diversity of Kent is what makes it so great, and we need a union that reflects this. Vote for me, Tammy Naidu, number 1 for union president. It's time for Tammy. It's time for a union for every student. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tammy. We move swiftly on to Dimitra. Dimitra, you're next.
Hello everybody, I'm Dimitra and I'm here to introduce a campaign towards the value for money. We all live in the same university and my plan is actually expanding our campaigning, the campaigns that we already have, and making them more relevant to you, so as to have a better utilization of the resources that we already have. I believe in increasing the funds for students towards looking on the national bodies that can actually provide relevant support and give to the departments a better resource so as to give better employability at the end of the day. Furthermore, I believe in decreasing the hidden costs, whether they called our textbooks, which means that if you don't have to buy your textbooks and you can find the electronic shares, then you can actually use those money to be more involved in campus and be a member of the societies that you always wanted to be. Furthermore, I believe in investing in Medway because we are all paying the same amount of money, but Medway, it's not as safe as Canterbury. The buses are not running as often as they should run, and the societies are not able to actually cooperate so much and be involved in all the events that we are having here. So my vision is actually to simplifying the guidelines of the union so as to provide Medway students and Canterbury students more events that they can be involved and be united so as to have a better experience for everyone involved. Furthermore, as a president union, I will have to locally represent the university, which means that I will know locally what is needed, and I can get you more volunteering hours and charity events so as to get a better employability and be more locally active in Canterbury. And I really look forward to work with every one of you.
Thank you very much, Dimitra, and we end with Zach.
Hello everyone, I'm Zach Toogood and I'm running to be your next Kent Union President. For my entire time that I've been at this university, I've worked for Kent Union. I've worked in Essentials as a normal member of staff, as a supervisor, and I've also worked in the venue. It's hard to find someone who understands the financial situation of the union more than I do. The union is worth more than £10 million annually, and every penny we make goes back into supporting students, be that through the Student Advice Centre, funding sports, funding societies, all of those sort of things that students love and enjoy. In order to support the student experience, we need to make a more successful union. A more successful union will mean we can provide more funding for students, sports, and societies. Not only does raising money through the union support everyone, students support themselves. I want there to be more incentive and more rewards for fundraising amongst students, sports, and societies. Stepping away from money for a moment, there's a discrepancy in lecture recordings and online materials. Some faculties have it completely and wonderfully, and that's great, and some are completely lacking. I want it to be a standard across the board where every faculty has lecture recordings. I want there to be more opportunities to work at Kent Union. My entire time here, my entire time working at Kent Union has given me many, many skills to boost my CV, boost my confidence, and help me after I graduate. I want there to be better access for all union and university faculties. It can often be hard to book spaces in lecture theatres and playing fields and all those sorts of things. I want everything to be expanded and easier for everyone. Many people complain about how expensive Kent Union is. If there's transparency within the union, you'll know exactly where your money goes and how your money's being spent.
Zach, I'm afraid you've reached time, but thank you very much. And that ends the 2 minute. And what would you do to combat that issue? And we start with Dave.
Okay, so the biggest issue facing... there's no standard student. Every student has difficulties, every student has their own opinion on the matters that affect them. So I think it's going to be difficult to generalise that statement because I think that it lacks, you can miss out certain groups that way. So as union president, the best thing for me to do would be to be a visible face and actually listen to the opinions of students and find out what matters to them and what their biggest issues are and take action to rectify that.
Thank you very much, Dave. Tammy, where do you stand?
I think with the current financial climate that we have, I think that most students mainly care about getting their money's worth out of their degrees, be it with their courses and course costs, and be it with their student experience. And so I believe that through my points, I can make experiences at Kent worth the money that students pay, both when it comes to their degrees and getting books and the library, and also with their social lives.
Thank you very much. Samuel, you're next.
Well, the issue for most people, as far as I find out often, is money issues. People think that they don't have enough money, they don't have enough money to live on, and that's primarily why we're looking at cost the price of food and beer, which are the two main expenditures that you have apart from rent. Unfortunately, we don't really have a remit over that, so there's nothing we can do. Tammy makes a good point regarding books and cutting down the course costs. I mean, we could look at that as well. Yeah, the cost of living seems to be the biggest problem for most students, I would say.
Thank you very much. Zach.
Just like Dave said, there is no perfect answer and every student faces different problems. All we can really do as a union is provide a base to support every possible problem and help anyone where they need it, be it financially, emotionally, sort of mentally with the advice centre, as much support as possible to cover all possible bases.
Thank you very much. Dimitra.
As you can see, I stand towards the fact that financially students struggle. And I'm not speaking only for the English student, I'm also speaking for the international students, the European students, that they don't receive from the government enough funds. So my belief is that by getting more funds, both academically, from national bodies, that they can support certain departments, as well as getting our colleges united so as to get better accommodation deals with people receiving more out of their accommodation, and decreasing the extra costs, then there will be probably a better chance for students to have a better experience in general.
Thank you very much. Darius.
Well, for me, it's actually money as well, to be honest. Majority of cash is going to go to pay for your accommodation, for your rent, for your food. And this is why a big part of my campaign is ensuring more jobs. But also, one of my manifesto points is the fact that to provide more information on ways the students can save. So not only would it come in form of workshops to prepare students to manage their money, but also in form of various incentives, be it rail cards, bus cards, any kind of discount cards they can find in Canterbury or Medway, and provide very clear information how to get it and where to get it, so they can make every pound work for them.
Thank you very much. Rashida.
I would like to say it's finance, but we all know that the economic climate is hard right now. What I actually think the biggest student problem is isolation. You come to uni and it's a big change, it's a transition, and you have no idea what it's going to be like. So I really want to address the fact that we need to come together as a community, come together as a band of students and help each other out, share our experiences. I don't want it to be like Medway, Canterbury, undergraduates, postgraduates. It's not about the separation of students. It's about us all coming together and realising that even though we all are different, we can learn from each other.
Interfacing, every student is different, we've all got different backgrounds, we come from different nationalities, different campuses, for example. So every student is different in that sense and has different needs. I think fundamentally the most important thing I can do, and as we as Kent Union as an organisation, is to listen, to ask the question, what would you require, what support would you need, and listen to those answers and find the best means to cater for those students.
Thank you very much, Chris. We're going to go to another question. So, right, it goes as such. Oh, it's a nice long one, so here we go. The government's spending review includes the plans to cut the National Scholarship Programme from 150 million to 50 million in 2015 to 2016. And this is likely to directly affect the participation of low-income families for the future. How will you work with the university to ensure that students don't face barriers to enter higher education? And we're going to start with Tammy.
Well, I think that one thing that the university could do, and obviously it's something the union will work with the university to do, is to create further bursaries and further financial support for students of low-income families. The university had a great surplus last year of money, and I think that that money could be put to good use, supporting these students and trying to not deter them from coming to university and encourage them the benefits that they can get from coming.
Thank you very much. Chris, you're next.
This is only one of a number of things the government is looking to potentially cut at the moment. Student Opportunity Fund, maintenance loans came out yesterday in the news. That's something they were looking to cut, and obviously, you know, finance is a big issue and one that no student should be afraid to come to university because of their their financial background. Something we've done this year really well is we've worked and lobbied local MPs who have a greater voice within Parliament to speak to their constituents and also to speak in the Commons. And that's what we've done. We've met with local MPs in both Medway and in Canterbury, and we spoke about these issues. They're writing letters as it stands at the moment to high bodies within Parliament, and hopefully we can find some answers. That's probably the best thing, to work with our local MPs, have a greater voice, and because they have the power and the strings that they can pull. So,
thank you very much, Chris. Dimitra.
Okay. My own view is that firstly we need to fight as much as we can do to stop the change. But if that cannot happen, I recently graduated from a law degree, and we had the very same problem with people still having financial problems and actually considering how we can help them. And at that instance, we actually created the phone line, which was a phone line that reached out to our graduates to ask for funds and extra support with the people that were struggling. And we managed to get a very high amount of funds that helped both students that needed to come in university and they deserved to be in the university and they couldn't. And also we opened extra buildings for our law department in my master university.
Thank you. Darius.
Well, I don't want to repeat my manifesto points all over again, but I think there are several options. Of course, as already mentioned, we can turn for assistance from MPs. We can look at the funds that the university itself possesses. I also think there's an option, maybe turn to alumni to create a fund where they would have an opportunity to donate some money. That would be also an income source. Again, I think that job opportunities are going to be one of the main sources for income, and if we create better ties with Canterbury campus, I think we can create jobs not only on campus but off campus to as large a number of students as we physically can.
Thank you, Darius. Dave.
Okay, so the National Scholarship Programme that was announced about 6 months ago, that the funding will be cut by about 100 million. So that it does present a problem to every student that, for me, I came to university as a mature student. I have no financial support from my parents. I live off the government loan that I get with the grant, and it's a struggle. But what we do have is the Access to Learning Fund, and that supported me through this year and has supported a number of students. It's a great fund for everyone to access, and there needs to be more awareness about it for me. There needs to be discussion with the university about the scholarship programme to make sure that the funds that the university has that are given by the government are also matched, and the funds continue to be there for students. The scholarship programme gives a very wide participation for students that generally would lack going to higher education. So we need to ensure that the opportunities for mature students, any student, actually are there in the future.
Thank you, Dave. We're going to move over to Zach.
Wherever possible, lobbying the organisations and the movements to cut any sort of funding would be the best possible plan. Failing that, using money the university already has and can raise to stipend and support anyone who'll be affected by these cuts would also be a good move. Raising money from the alumni has been very successful in the past. We do that already as a university. That happens in the business centre, and there's no reason that can't be extended further. Bursaries through faculties for academic excellence, bring more people in. The more people there are in the university, the more money the university makes as a whole, and then that can support further students coming to the university. So success breeds success for the university.
Thank you very much. And we move over to Samuel.
Well, I think with this, you're asking the question basically about what we're going to do about this government spending cut effectively. Well, one way to encourage students to get to university, even if there's no scholarship fund, is by making it cheaper, because it's a cost of living question. This is why there's the issue with the scholarship fund, hence why you said about low income background. So really the only way we can change that is by lobbying local MPs and that sort of thing. I think if we work with the university to do a campaign drive so that everyone emails the local MP or something like that, all of a sudden you'll have people in Parliament speaking up about it, because there's a lot of students at this university. That's a lot of votes that person's going to want to win. That's what I think is a good way. The other way is probably by lobbying through NUS, the National Union of Students. That's probably that's probably the biggest student lobby group in the country. It is the biggest student lobby group in the country, and they can put some pressure on from their end as well. So really, just working through that and taking advantage of the technology we have. Run campaigns through Facebook and social media and email. The students will get involved that way.
Thank you very much, Rashida.
I definitely think this is a situation where, as students, we need to use our voice. There are a lot of us, and we are important, and definitely lobbying to get this change stopped. But if all else fails, if that fails, I do think the uni can help by offering assistance packages, even just things like vouchers and discounts around campus, cheaper accommodation, just to take financial burden off and to get people coming to the uni. If we present ourselves as a uni where the living costs are affordable, people will come, and I think that's where it starts and ends, really.
Thank you very much, Rashida. I've been hearing from the voices in my head that we're now going to cross over to Social Media HQ because apparently Kathleen has a question for us. Is that right, Kathleen?
Hello, yes, I do have a question for you. This is for Dimitra. You mentioned in your manifesto that you'll be increasing funding support. What do you mean by this, and how will you achieve it?
We're sorry, Kathleen, we didn't quite hear you in the studio again. Can you just say that again so I can put that through to the candidates?
It's for Dimitra. You mentioned in your manifesto that you'll be increasing the funding support. What do you mean by this, and how will you achieve it?
The question is for you, and it says, in your manifesto, you are... oh, I'm so sorry, Kathleen, I've completely blanked again. If only the speaker would work. Sorry, can you say that again, Kathleen?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me okay?
No, we still can't hear you. Go on, just give us the question, and I'll try and throw as best I can.
Okay. You mentioned in your manifesto that you will increase the funding support.
Right.
What do you mean by this, and how will you achieve it?
You mentioned in your manifesto that you're going to increase funding support. And what do you mean by this, and how will you apply it?
We plan to make contact with all national bodies that are departmentally, meaning that I was a law student. And at that point of time, I did get in contact with the Inner Temple, the Middle Temple, and all the organizations that actually supported lawyers, so as to get more scholarship for people that really deserve to be in university and have that fund. I believe that the same can be achieved for every single department, whether it's the Department of Architecture, and they need support from the Architecture Association, whether it's the Forensic Science, and it's going to be the Forensic Science Society. Another way as well would be for physicists need programs for their studies. By getting those programs very, very cheap or with no cost at all, that means that automatically you help the department to have more opportunity to give to students more.
Thank you very much, Dimitra. I'm sorry about that technical hiccup. Hopefully the mice will stop chewing on the wires. And Kathleen, do you have another question for us?
Let's hope so. This is a question for Samuel. All the money that is made in the venue goes straight back to Kent Union services. If you want to have made venue cheaper, what services are going to suffer as a result of this?
Yeah, ready? Well, that's assuming in the first place that we wouldn't make more money by more people coming into venue if it was cheaper. I mean, there's no reason why we can't be making exactly the same amount of profit by increasing sales and reducing margins. So there's no reason why we can't do that. Also, we look at the budget. The only budget that you get no detail of how much stuff's costing from suppliers and things like that. If we can change suppliers and save a couple of thousand here and a couple of thousand there, I can easily fund that sort of change. I'd have to have a better look at the actual budget, but I can't do that until I'm actually elected. I have, however, had a discussion with someone who has seen the budget, and they've said it's perfectly feasible. We just got to have a look at it and see what we can move around.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Kathleen, do you have another one for us?
I do indeed. This one is for Zach. You mentioned increasing employment of the students within Kent Union. What jobs need to be done that aren't being done already then?
Well, the problem we have in Essentials a lot is that we have a shift cover program, and it's often hard to find cover. So we bring in people from Job Shop, people who aren't permanently employed by Kent Union. By bringing more jobs into Kent Union, like we have in previous years, this year we've had a cut in employment to try and drive costs down. If we bring employment back up, there will never be an issue with the venue being understaffed, with Essentials being understaffed, with Parkwood Essentials needing to shut early because there are no staff to run it. You need a minimum of 2 people. So there's always room to have more staff on hand. And in busy times, everyone's been into Essentials at lunchtime, and you can see that nothing's really moving. There's so many efforts to try and get things moving quickly. There's so much more that can be done, and more staff is the answer.
Thank you very much. Kathleen, can you question, please?
Yes, I can. This one is for Rashida. In your manifesto, you talk about creating events to bring together different cultures. We already have some similar events. What will make yours different?
My event would be massive. When I say a carnival, I mean something that runs all the way from Wharf through Tyler all the way down to the bottom of the hill. And it won't just be open to university students. It'll be something that the community can get involved in. It will be different because I will be getting different societies involved. I'll be getting the local community involved by getting people to bring in their cultural food stalls. And it will be fun, but just a way for us to embrace each other's culture and embrace one another. And that's what I think will be different.
Thank you very much there, Rashida. Some great questions so far. Kathleen, can you give us another?
I can. This time is for Tammy. You mentioned in your policy around including bus passes for first-year students in the accommodation fee. Considering the vast majority of people voting for this won't benefit from that, is that really a priority?
Well, it's not one of my top manifesto points, but it's in there because I think just because students haven't actually come to the university yet doesn't mean that we can't make it better for them. And at the end of the day, we want to increase the amount of students that are coming to Kent, and what better a way than giving such an incentive such as that.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Some very good questions there, some really getting to the point. So, Kathleen, any more coming up?
Yes, indeed. This one is for Chris, and it's actually a Twitter question from Elliot. Do you think that you'll be able to separate yourself from your previous sport role, being president? Will you focus on societies as much as sport?
Yeah, definitely. One of the questions many people ask me actually is why I'm also running for this role, and fundamentally I came to this role thinking I would dedicate all my time to sport, and it's been far, far from the case, and I've actually got involved in an awful lot outside, which is fundamentally the reason why I sit here today. Societies are on the same level as sports and student groups and SLVGs and student volunteering groups. A co-curricular activity that are fundamental to our time at university. This year with the Sport Maths campaign, which I've started running, is getting more credit and respect from the university with regards to these activities, and there's no reason why we can't do the same for societies. And one of my main points on the manifesto is sports and societies matter. They're on an equal playing field. Everyone has the opportunity to get involved and make the most of their time at university. So I'll do all I possibly can for societies, for sports clubs, for any individual, regardless of that, and I will be more than able to detach myself from my sport role. Yes.
Thank you very much there, Chris. Kathleen, another question if you please.
Here's one for David, and this is a Facebook question from Tom. You're quite vague in your manifesto. How do you plan to enable better accessibility to sports and leisure facilities?
Okay, so the manifesto that is online at the moment is not complete because a lot of it's on the website because they don't want to put every bit of information on a piece of paper. I think you can read it at leisure on your own time. It'll be on the website tomorrow. Now, in terms of accessibility for sports, one of the things was looking at more scholarships for our top athletes. I think it's nice that if you are really achieving very highly in sports, you should be rewarded for that. So have more scholarships for them. I think that's a very important point for that. In terms of the university's gym membership, I think that's is absolutely fine at the moment for me. And yeah, it's about bringing out more scholarships for the top students.
Thank you very much there, Dave. Kathleen, I think we have one.
Well, I work in one of the outlets myself, the Gulbenkian, so I can see firsthand how much food is actually being thrown away for no reason. And I think that it's perfectly feasible to work together with local farms and just literally export the food waste off campus because we are giving away this essentially for free. In return, all we ask is just transportation to get it off campus, and we reduce our food waste footprint, and they get resources for their own activities.
Thank you very much, Darius. And thank you again, Kathleen. I think we're going to move back onto the group questions. So it reads, as Kent Union President, how will you support and engage Medway students? And we're going to start with Chris.
Yeah, Medway students, as any other student, falls into the University of Kent banner. This year, I've worked very, very closely with Medway. I've tried my best to get there once a week, and we've worked on the Team Medway campaign. We've worked fundamentally on the C4 campaign, which is a really positive move to get a student union building upon their campus. I know it's a major, major issue at the moment in terms of them having to travel off campus. Looking really positive post 2015 to have that. Obviously with the extended library and also the new and improved buses, funding for Summerborn and various other things is looking very, very good with terms of what we've done this year in Medway. And the same will continue next year. I think people talk about Medway in this different light as if it's this sort of ghostly town that no one goes to, and it's just a matter of communication. I've spent many a time on the Medway campus, and I think it's a fantastic place and a beautiful campus. And it's just allowing them and giving them the platform to shout about what they do, and I will be able to do that.
Thank you very much, Chris. We move on to Zach.
Medway shouldn't be treated as a separate entity from Kent. We're all under the University of Kent banner, and as such, we should all be treated the same, and everyone should have access to the same opportunities. So increasing the bus links was a great help last year. Better representation is on the way. I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of hiring an additional SAB to represent Medway as a whole. The SAB team at the moment is based primarily in Canterbury, and efforts are made to go over, but there is still a physical distance and a physical separation. Having someone permanently posted in Medway to help and support and work with the current SAB team would be an excellent way to bring Medway to the forefront and make sure everyone is united under the one Kent University banner.
Thank you very much. Rashida.
Mainly what I want to do if I get elected is to be a presence myself at Medway. So I've said in my manifesto that I will have Meet the President nights where I go and sit in one of the outlets and just people can just come casually and talk to me. I don't just mean at Canterbury, I mean at Medway as well. I will try to travel to Medway at least fortnightly to have these Meet the President nights where I can talk to the students and hear what they really want to say. And I think Medway gets treated as if it's very, very far. It's about a 45-minute bus ride. And I think we need to take that distance out of it and really just focus on the fact that they are students like us. And that's basically what I'm going to do, just go and meet them.
Thank you very much, Rashida. We're going to move swiftly on to Dave. Dave, you're next.
Okay, part of this comes down to working with the Medway Student Committee to ensure that their needs are being met. They have a voice that's being heard. So it's working with the part-time officer representing everyone at Medway, and also the Kent Union discount card that I look to propose to introduce will be for throughout the county of Kent, not just Canterbury, not just Medway, but for the area that you live in. I think that's a practical step to making everyone feel part of the brand that is Kent, University of Kent and Kent Union. What was recently passed at Union Council was a sports review for transport links at Medway. Now I think that's very important to ensure that our sports club as well, that there's equal opportunities at both campuses. So I'd work with the VP Sports and Kent Sport to ensure that the review takes place and that the right outcome is achieved for all students.
Thank you very much, Dave. We move swiftly over to Dimitra.
As for Medway students in general, I believe that they're not that much represented in the University of Kent, in Kentbury campus. We see that this year there are only 2 activities officers that are running that are from Medway, and none of us actually is from Medway. So it's going to be a president from Kentbury, which means that we actually need to give considerations to their needs as well. For me, that actually means engaging the officers for all of them to have a plan about Medway as well, except from Kentbury. And I'm saying that because it's extremely important that we get a full-time job. That means a lot of hours. That means taking a year out from our studies, which means that all of us have points on our manifestos, but they're not enough at all. And I would like to make a presence to Medway from Kentbury officers and have plans for them as well.
Thank you very much, Dimitra. Samuel.
Well, Medway, everyone else seems to have said it. The key thing seems to be the lack of transport. Not the lack, but the need for increased availability of transport to and from Medway and improved transport links. That's going to get people. That's going to reduce the isolation of Medway. It's going to get people from Medway more involved in Canterbury, sorry, and it's more likely to get more people from Canterbury involved in Medway as well. I mean, if you can get the bus there and back at regular times, or you can get there however you can get down, maybe get a helicopter. I don't know. It's probably not financially viable. But yeah, and other than that, I mean, I don't really know many people from Medway. Obviously, this is the thing we're all talking about. They're isolated. You don't see them, you don't talk to them. Well, make them sound like an ethnic minority or something here. That's not the case. That was a face palm, wasn't it? Dear, yeah. Anyways, sorry. So other than that, I don't really know much about the Medway, much about the people in Medway. I intend to go down and talk to them as soon as I'm elected president, find out what's going on. So that's all I need.
Thank you, Samuel. We move on to Darius.
Well, obviously one of the ideas of actually electing an additional sabbatical officer I think is amazing, because you would have a person who's actually there at all times, and liaisoning would be much easier with the campus. But I also think there should be more in terms of having joint events with Medway, getting them involved as well, getting them onto our campus, and then having events and going to their campus as well. So I think the society should get involved more with this. I think that there should be just general joint projects, simply so that they have stake in the activities that we do, and I think that's going to attract more people to actually visit each other's campuses.
Thank you very much. Tammy?
Well, I think so far we've made great strides with increasing communication between Canterbury and Medway. However, I think that we pay too much attention to too much emphasis on trying to get Medway students to come to Canterbury. I think we should actually try and run more things in Medway, have more activities for them, actually get Canterbury students wanting to go to Medway for certain events. If I can take into example what I'm doing currently at the moment in my own role, every year my committee organises Cane Stock, and this year we've decided to take Cane Stock to Medway. We're running auditions over in Medway as well, to open up opportunities just as much to them as we do here, and I think that's something that I definitely take into my role as president.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Well, I think we're going to move on to another question. So it reads as follows. Chris,
yes.
I'm sorry, have you been forgotten?
No,
Sorry. Communication breakdown, we weren't very sure. But we're going to move on to another question. Chris, I'm sure you will get a go in that one too. So, the question reads, what would you do to reintegrate the average student who frequently lacks time to get involved in student politics with the union? And we start with Darius.
Well, I think to involve students like that, obviously you would promote political societies. You would get them to actually visit Kent Union, perhaps see for themselves how actually the Kent Union works. So I think meeting the SABs, meeting the representatives, getting a chance to ask questions, whether in person or in an online forum, and simply having, I guess, more information online as well, because if he's actually lacking time, odds are he won't be able to spend enough time to actually visit the places and see for themselves. We have handbooks, we have the Kent Union website, and I think there are ways to improve the information available.
Thank you very much, Darius. Rashida, you're next.
I think a way to get people who don't have a lot of time to engage with elections and politics on campus is to grab their attention, change the form of communication. People who don't have time don't check their emails as much as they used to. But now we have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Twitter. We need to make sure that we're promoting the fact that we have Twitter and Facebook, because everybody has time to check Twitter and Facebook. And I also think the fact that we have this amazing space, we have so much amazing space on campuses. Medway is a nice campus where you can stand out, hand out flyers. People walking can pick up flyers. You're going into essentials, when you're walking to and from lecture, you can pick up a flyer. So I think that's how we get people who don't have time to engage.
Thank you very much, Rashida. And we move on to Tammy.
Well, I think that a vital way to get students involved in the decisions we make in the union, the politics of the union, is through moving things such as the zones, not necessarily replacing them with online forums, but sort of supplementing them, so that students who don't have the time to give up a couple of hours in the evening to just have a look at what's going on the internet, they can put in their suggestions and stuff like that, so that they can still feel part, even if they can't be physically at these sort of events.
Thank you very much, Tammy. And next up is Samuel.
Well, making it about things that students are actually interested in, if you make that what the union are actually involved with, then you'd find more students turn up. We saw that recently with the Student Republic issue that came up. There was 150 people who turned up to that one, and that had to be moved from the Peter Brown room to Wolf because there was that many people interested, because it was actually something the students care about. So I think that's the priority, is moving the focus back onto what the general student population wants. The other thing that we could do is make better use of social media and online facilities. The website isn't the best to navigate, particularly if you don't know exactly where you're going in the first place, so maybe we could improve that. What was it? I had one other point as well. No, it's gone. Never mind. Oh, that'll do.
Thank you very much, Samuel. And we move over to Dave.
Okay. I mean, like Sam just said there, the zones is a fantastic forum for anyone to use, and it's any question can be posed. plus on your rights zones. It's shown that students actually do want to get engaged, and the most recent all-student vote was sent out, actually engaged, it hit quality for once. It's a great achievement. Everyone started to get involved at things that matter to them. In terms of more engagement, I think it's just a discussion I need to have with the students that are very heavily involved in student politics and get their views on how we can change it as a union. Not everyone here has the complete answer to everything, so the students should lead the decisions here.
10 seconds. Oh, no, perfect timing. Thank you very much, Dave. Dimitra, you're next.
I personally believe that first of all we need to engage more with students through the social media, as everyone said, and I think it's a fairly good point. But at the end of the day, students that have to make a decision whether they want to engage or not. And personally, I'm personally really loving my studies, and I'm not always going to read my emails. But I believe that the more interesting you make every campaign and everything, the people have to engage. Because if it's something that it's worth seeing, then people are going to engage. But I mean, probably through the library system, the essentials, the venue, like big outlets can actually give leaflets and people are walking inside them and they might not be interested, but they're gonna take a second to look at what you gave them. I think probably that's a practical solution.
Thank you very much. And next up is Zach.
I think to bring student politics into the eye line of the average student who's probably not really that involved would be to put it somewhere where they can see it. For instance, in the line in Essentials, you've got the banners talking about the student election. What would you do? What would you change? That's very visible. There's the screen in Essentials, which is visible. There's screens in the venue entrance area where you can see all these sort of things. These are places where students are going to be and they can see all of these things. Generally, a student is not going to look at a poster as they're walking down a hallway somewhere. They're going to see it while they're waiting for something. Like a library login screen would be a good way of advertising things. And sort of to make things more relevant, if you're stating X bylaw and whatever else, students are just going to skim over it and not really pay attention. If you reword it to say how this will directly affect you, more people will be more likely to get involved.
Thank you very much. Chris.
Yeah, it's a key topic that we've had this year with obviously the ongoing democracy review, which is going to run until December. And obviously, as leadership elections, only 20% of the student population voting is a fundamental problem. Quality its own is rarely ever met. So in my way, there's two ways to do it. It's to have more informal democracy, so taking it on from the point where Zach mentions about, sort of the way we publicise democracy in key places like in Essentials or outside in the plaza. Why not let's actually perform democracy out in the plaza? It's simple, could be a yes or no ballot to regarding do you want an act taking place in the venue or what's on offer in the shop. And this is where sort of people's misconception of what politics is. People think of party politics and the stuff that's not particularly engaging or stuff that ultimately scares them. Politics is it's about people, it's about decisions and students making decisions. It could be about making a decision in the venue or what's on in the shop or various other things. So more informal democracy, yes or no polls, online polls, more online forums, and moving our online processes or democracy process online. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chris. We've got another question here which reads, what will you do to improve relations with the local community? So we're going to start with Zach. Quite an important question there, I think.
One of the main things President is described as is representing the university to local MPs, local authorities, everyone in the local area, and being a voice for the students. The best thing you can do is represent students honestly. If you say students are going to do this, we're not going to do this, this is how we are, or we are not going to affect your life, people might not respond favourably. The power we have as the union to sort of lobby local authorities and ask them things. There was the Save Chaucer Fields initiative, I think 1 or 2 years ago. That was fairly successful. And we worked with the local community for that. It's trying to break down the separation between our campus and Canterbury and Medway and bring everyone in together as a community.
Thank you very much. And we move over to Dave.
Okay, well, it's a massive point in my manifesto here is that the Kent Union and University of Kent can do so much more to work with the local community, both in a business sense and also in terms of your local neighbours. So in terms of working better with the local community, with its businesses, the Kent Union discount card, I think, pretty much goes some way to achieve that. It's a practical step to a more successful community. With your neighbours, one of the things that have been pushed through the council this year has been the Article 4 direction, which limits the HMOs, which are houses motor occupants, so student housing. It's limited in areas now, so I want to work with the local council and the VP Education, and in fact all the sabbatical team, to ensure that the voice of students is heard at the local government, so that we, you know, it's the relationship is being formed there.
Thank you very much, Dave. We seem to be moving along the lines. Next up is Chris.
Yeah, local community. We're Canterbury and Medway combined is home to well over 40,000 students that call this place home, and sort of what we're doing currently at the moment. This year, we've established a community. Internal community projects, which obviously Megan VP Welfare has rolled out to date, and our relationship with other student unions within the local vicinity has been absolutely fantastic. I think we've established much stronger relationships with Canterbury Christchurch Student Union, UCA, and Canterbury College. Moving on to sort of going forward next year, the main point in my manifesto is your community and establishing a student council, very much like the model of the Lambeth Youth Council in London. Is establishing a council where we have representatives from all three of these student unions, and obviously over at Medway with Greenwich and Canterbury Christchurch students, a lobbying group that can meet on a regular basis and lobby local councillors and local groups and find out what's needed, so a greater voice through establishing a student council.
Thank you very much. Dimitra.
First of all, I believe that as a union president, whoever takes the position will need actually to really give consideration and be in the local council meetings, because the majority of the times as students we view our own position, our needs. We don't see always the university needs and politics, and not the local needs as well. So my position would be actually to be present and also take the time to listen to what the community needs in Canterbury, so as to give students more volunteering, be more active locally. And then I believe that if you are more active locally, they have a better response towards your needs as well. It works both ways all the time.
Thank you very much, Dimitra. Rashida, you're next.
I believe this question ties in very well with my befriending program. I really think the students who do have the heart to impact community, I want to champion them and give them an opportunity to do so. So by befriending, I mean setting up programs within the local schools where university students can go in and just talk to the students and have like a buddy big brother system or big sister system, pair you up, and it makes people feel like you really care. I know that we could do things on a larger level, but I believe it starts small, and that is probably the smallest way to start. Just working on the individuals in the community, even the old people, having a befriending program for them to let them know that we do care. And with the Cultural Diversity Carnival that I wish to plan as well, inviting them along so that they can have a good time and see that students aren't just about going clubbing and doing essays, and letting them get to know us and getting to know them.
Thank you very much. Tammy?
Do you want to repeat the question one more time?
Yes, of course. It is, what will you do to improve relations with the local community?
Well, I think that it's important to, our relationship with the community is kind of sort of give and take, in the sense that they get from us business, like if there weren't students here in Canterbury, I think that it would be quite a dead city. Like if you see it during the holidays, there's very few people here. I think that we need to give to the community by volunteering more within the community, advertising more opportunities to volunteer in the community, as well as working with local businesses by making partnerships, as well as doing things in collaboration with them, so possibly inviting certain businesses up to the university for events and such like, to try and build a stronger bond and get them to see the good of having students in their town as well as the bad, I guess.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Darius, you're next.
Well, first of all, I think we should be pretty close with the Canterbury Council, just sort of understand what are the needs of the local community. Then, of course, getting involved through volunteering, participating in different campaigns, just simply helping out around. But at the same time, obviously, working with businesses. For example, the Rocksock at the moment is running a new project for students who want to learn to play instruments. And by working with the local community, we're actually securing discounts for music instruments, for accessories. So it sort of goes two ways. We are promoting their business, we're getting them involved, but at the same time we're receiving help from them, and we are managing to promote live music throughout the campus. We're even securing second-hand used instruments, so students can actually learn who can't afford a music instrument. So I think it's pretty much listening to the needs of the community and seeing what we can give and what they can give back to us, and helping each other.
Thank you very much. And lastly, Samuel.
Well, to be honest, I didn't actually realise that we needed to actually improve relations with the wider community. I thought they were pretty fine as they were. But I suppose one way that we could do it with my manifesto is reduce the number of drunken students staggering through town in the wee hours of the morning making a lot of noise by having them all drink up on campus. That's about it.
Short but sweet. Thank you very much, Samuel. Candidates, you'll be glad to know that we are going to have a 5-minute break so you can catch your breath, get a drink of water or anything else. But viewers at home, don't forget that I'm not doing this on my own. I am doing this with the loving support of Kathleen and her social media team over at Social Media HQ. Kathleen, can you remind us how we can get in touch with you?
Yes, they can get in touch with us after the break with all their questions through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and our anonymous form on the KTV website using the hashtag CQTPresident.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. Viewers at home, don't go anywhere. We will be back in roughly 5 minutes. Thank you very much. We'll see you in just a few moments.
Sugar and spice, yeah. So good, I got you, yeah. I feel like sugar and spice. Nah, I feel good, like sugar and spice. So good, I got you, yeah. I feel right, like sugar and spice. Yeah, it's so good, I got you, yo. You guys ready? I feel good, as good as I went now. I said I feel right, like sugar and spice. Yeah, so good, I got you. It's so good, I got you. It's so good, I got you, yo. Thank you. Yeah! You want to see John Pitt? John! Killing in the name of, yeah. Some of them that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of them that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Hey. Some of them that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Nah, 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 nah. Some of them that work forces, yeah, are the same that burn crosses. Give me some. Said I'm killing in the name of. Yeah, girl. Nah, 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 nah. I'm killing in the name of. And now you do what they told you. And now you do what they told you. One more time. Hey! And now you do what they told you. 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 Now you do what they told you. Now you do what they told you. And now you do what they told you. Now you do what they told you. Those that died are justified by wearing the badge. Their chosen whites, I say you justify. The ones that died by wearing the badge. Their chosen whites, I say those who died are justified by wearing the badge. Their chosen whites, I say you justify. The ones that died by wearing the badge. Their chosen whites, yeah. Some of them that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Hey, some of them that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of them that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of them that work forces, yeah, yeah, are the same that burn crosses. Give me some room. Said I'm killing in the name of. Yeah, yeah. Now I'm killing in the name of. And now you do what they told ya. And now you do what they told ya. And now you do what they told ya. Hey, and now you do what they told ya. And now you do what they told ya. Hey, now you do what they told ya. And now you do what they told ya. And now you do what they told ya. And now you do what they told ya. Now you do what they told ya. Those that died are justified by wearing the badge. They're chosen whites, I say you justified. The ones that died by wearing the badge. They're chosen whites, I say those who died are justified by wearing the badge. They're chosen whites, I say you justified. The ones that died by wearing the badge. They're chosen whites, yeah. Give it up. Guys, you know I'm not allowed to say it. You know I'm not allowed to say it. Said screw you, I won't do what you told me. Said screw you, I won't do what you told me. Said screw you, I won't do what you told me. Just screw you, I won't do what you told me. Said screw you, I won't do what you told me. Said screw you, I won't do what you told me, yeah. Said I'm killing in the name of. Said I'm killing in the name of. Thank you.
And thank you and welcome back to the second half of Candidate Question Time for the President. But before we start, we're going to run a small and short VT, which is about all the things you guys love about Kent Union.
I love Kent Union. I think it's really good. Yeah, I think it has a lot to offer societies, and the events they put on are really good.
Well, up to now, I really like about how the university is.
I would say, like for the engineering side, they're really doing a good job. Though lecturers, good cordial relationship between the lecturers and students and everything. and obviously like they kind of push us to like do extra works and everything.
I'm quite happy with the lecturers and the way it's been taught and the facilities at the university.
Okay, I like the fact that there's a great sense of community in the student media, so we have 3 different groups. We have the newspaper, the radio and the television, and they're kind of interchangeable, and we do things together, and it's a great sense of community.
The strikes, it was a few of my things were cancelled, but then they did explain to us why they were going on strike, and they asked for our support, which was completely understandable. So besides that, it's been...
Yeah. I also like the fact that so the nights and the evenings we have on campus are really varied. So there's the big club, there's the venue that has nights like Trend for people who like clubbing and stuff. But we also have comedy nights, and we have acoustic music evenings and stuff like that. So it kind of, the social life here really appeals to all walks of life.
The students around are living in love and harmony, which is something very paramount for good learning environment and everything.
And concerning the sports, it's good because we have leagues for footballs, like basketball, volleyballs, and everything. So it's quite good. And even like I play for the amateur league, so it's well arranged. I like it very much, and
all the events and stuff they put on at all the different bars and everything. No, it's already good. I can't really ask them to improve anything.
Well, for me, because I'm a master's student, I'm here for the whole year. I live in Wolf. The gym's great. I went earlier today, and it is really well kitted out nowadays. So I guess that might relate why they put the prices up.
The lecture theatres, most of them are new, like refurbished and everything. It's quite nice, and well, people here are nice too.
I think everything has its fair amount, really. Like, I understand I have to pay for stuff, so that's fine. That's fine if it's good, and most of it is. So.
Extracurricular activities, I've not too been into extracurricular activities as such, but from what I hear, like apart from the work side, there's still a lot of things to do outside the education aspect, which makes, like they said, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So it's really like a very good thing in this uni.
Well, I mean, obviously there are other club nights, such as the Wednesday night, which I think is union, right? Yeah, personally, I'm not a fan of going to the club, so I don't actually know much about it. I just like the fact that there is this kind of variation, so you can be it kind of appeals to all kinds of people.
In general, I just like the teaching, and I like the activities that they provide in terms of sports, in terms of the societies, the range of societies that they have and opportunities that they have for students. The ACS Society as well, they have like ongoing events like throughout the year. Those are a couple of the things that I like about the union.
The venue, sometimes on Fridays, then I stay at the Down House because I'm a postgraduate student, and sometimes on Saturdays I go for the karaoke night, just to chill out, stuff like that. At times I go to a K-bar. They usually have like some good activities like Don't Tell Your Mama and stuff like that. So I think you guys are really doing a good job. You're really doing a good job, and you should keep it up.
Well, that's the end of the VT, it appears. Sorry about that. But we're going to go straight back onto the questions. So, Kathleen, apparently you have some good ones for us, so can you throw us a bone?
Yes, indeed, I can. We have plenty of questions rolling in. The first one we have for David, and it's a Twitter question from @BigShot. With terms such as crazy and mad discouraged by the mental health campaigning groups, do you think the campaign slogan, Go Coco for Loco, trivialises mental health issues?
Okay. That's a very good question. First of all, it's Go Loco for Coco. The word loco has connotations with crazy. Now, if you look in the dictionary, crazy can also mean passionately enthusiastic. I'm not using it in a negative way. And do you know how hard it is to find something that rhymes with Cocosa? It's really hard. It's just a play on words for me.
Thank you very much for that, Dave. So, Kathleen?
Hi, yes, we have another question for Sam, and it's, you mentioned price matching in essentials. With who? And if this price matching with large supermarkets was with a greater buying power, would you be happy to let essentials run at a loss?
Well, can I go? Yes. Well, we're not really looking to run at a loss. We're looking to run it more sort of at cost. Price match with, well, but on necessities, potentially we could be looking at getting a price match with the major supermarkets. I mean, if we have if we basically turn essentials into the main shop for students, there's no reason that we don't all of a sudden have the sort of buying power that many of the local shops have. There's no reason that we can't do that, but like I say, I mean, it's all down to the budget and what we can do with the actual budget. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what we can do and what we can't do. But like I said, this was all costed by the candidate last year who finished second, so we do know it's perfectly feasible.
Thank you very much, Samuel. We're going to go back to the Swiss sphere. Kathleen, another question?
Yes, we have a question for Zach. Would you like to increase the funding for societies and sports teams? Sorry, you would like to increase the funding for societies and sports teams. What services would you reduce funding for, enabling you to achieve this? Or do you have ideas for a source of alternative funding?
There's no need to cut any current service. So that would be the Student Advice Centre and other things that support students from that side of their lives. Kent Union as an organisation turns over a lot of money. If we turn over more money, so all the outlets becoming more successful, all of that sort of thing, then there will be more money to put towards sports societies and then even increase these other helpful organisations like the Advice Centre and that, the counselling and that sort of thing.
Thank you very much for that, Zach. Kathleen, could we have another question, please?
Yes, you can indeed. This one is for Tammy. You write in your manifesto a whole section of points for the venue lover. How much of a priority do you think venue is for students?
Well, considering that it's our main nightclub on campus, our only nightclub on campus, and our main going out place on campus, I think it's quite a priority. And although maybe not everyone loves going to venue, and maybe not everyone does go to venue, I think that if we can improve the venue experience, a lot more students will, and I think that will create a much better sense of community on campus because so many people will be going out here on our campus rather than in the town, and it'll be safer and hopefully more fun. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Tammy. I think everyone will know where to find her if you have any more questions for her. Kathleen, can we have another question, please?
Yes, we have one for Dimitra this time. You've talked about bringing inspirational guests onto campus. Who are the inspirational guests you would like to see?
Well, actually, I would like to see young people that have done something in terms of education. I have a very good example, actually. For me, it would be extremely interesting to speak to Skype, actually, because with a girl that is 25 years old and at the moment is in NASA. And I think that that would be something that will inspire people. In general, I believe that this campus needs a bit of inspiration, whether it's going to be someone that it's disabled and they're doing sports, or someone that is very, very young and they have a talent for science and maths. I believe that there are inspirational people from every single area to get here and give us something out of it.
Thank you very much, Dimitra. Kathleen, can we have another question?
Yes, we have a question for Chris this time. In your manifesto, you mentioned breaking down barriers. What are these barriers and how will you break them down?
I mentioned that. University life should be for absolutely everyone, regardless of your background, your sexuality, your gender, your age, your race, etc. This year with sport in particular, obviously we did the Liberation in Sport Day for the first ever time, and it's allowing those students that have barriers, as I've just mentioned, to get involved. And to do that, one of those I mentioned in particular is the hardship fund to allow those that struggle with financial difficulty. But it's working with our liberation officers, our part-time officers that represent these minority groups or those that aren't currently represented to a certain extent, to find ways and initiatives in order to get them more involved. So it could be working with national and local organisations, local charities, or working with the students themselves and asking them ultimately what do they want. So.
Perfectly timed. Thank you very much. Kathleen.
Yes, we have a question for Rashida. You say that cultural diversity is important to you. How would you celebrate other forms of diversity like LGBT groups and students with disabilities?
Firstly, by working with the officers. I have friends who come from all sorts of backgrounds, who are all different types of people, from different classes, different sexuality. To me, I would love to work with the officers, but I would also love to just strip back those labels and look at people as just people. So it's not about, I'm going to work with LGBT, then I'm going to work with ethnic minorities. It's about saying, let's all of us just work together and get to know each other.
Thank you very much. I think we've got one more question from Social Media HQ. Kathleen, what is it?
Yes, we have one more question for Darius, and that is, as a postgraduate student yourself, what would you do to support postgrads at the University of Kent?
Well, I think one of the things from the feedback that I got from students is, of course, sometimes it's a little bit harder to socialize due to time constraints. There's also issues of finding time to properly integrate with the university. I think one of the most important things is to work with the course reps, to work with the school reps, to get good feedback of what actually are the needs of the students and try to engage them as much as possible. I found that, for example, the BGT students, one of the things they suffer from is lack of space to actually work. So they are expected to teach us while working, well, whenever they can find the space. So I think there has to be more input received from the postgraduate reps to fully understand the needs.
Thank you very much. Right, we now move on to the next question, which reads quite simply, how would you manage the rest of the sabbatical team? And we will start with Sam.
Well, by getting involved with the sabbatical team, they've got their own departments that they're focusing on. Just that the role of president says that you will assist the VPs in their duties. Basically finding out what the VPs want doing, what they need help with, talking to them, and then working from there. I can't say much more at the moment because we don't know what their plans are.
Thank you very much there, Samuel. I think we're going to move on to Dave there. Dave.
This is an interesting one because the role of the president for me is about representing students, and yeah, part of it is leading the sabbatical team, but it's not managing them. You're not a manager. You're not a people. You don't manage people. You're a team player. Yeah, you should have a voice, but I think that voice should be representing students. So it's about working closely with each other to ensure your goals are common and that you achieve that common goal. It's not about managing them as such.
Thank you very much, Dave. And we're going to move over to Chris.
Yeah, similar issue. The word manage, obviously part of the sabbatical team, but at the moment, and Chelsea, who's obviously in presidency at the moment, is never, in a sense, manage me. It's first amongst equals with regard to the presidency. They are the main liaison with the local community, with the university. They will sit in more university meetings per se, but I don't have to necessarily report to the president, or they're not there as a managerial role to say, I do this, this and this. So what we do is communication, it's working together. Spending time as a team, you know, all as one, five as equals. This year we've met on a regular basis with informal meetings, and the more communication, the better. So I'm not there, you know, if I get this role to look down upon my 4 vice presidents. That's not ultimately how it works, and they're not my vice presidents. We're all part of a team, part of the same team with one common goal. And the more we talk, the more we spend together, the better we'll be.
Thank you very much, Chris. Tammy, you're next.
I agree. I don't see it as a sort of managing role. With a lot of my manifesto points, I do, like most of them, would require me working with the other vice presidents because I believe that at the end of the day, we are a union, we are together, and most things will overlap because that's just the way it is, and I think that it's vital for us all to work together, whoever they may be. I think it's vital for them to work together as a team rather than as individuals.
Thank you very much, Tammy. We move over to Dimitra.
I believe that I know who I am, and I really ask for the opportunity for all of you to let me show you what I can do for your student experience, and I'm pretty sure that all the officers putting up their free time and themselves out here being criticized by every student is actually wanting this as much as I do at the moment. So I believe that with those people I can really work with, and we all have ideas, and with those ideas we can like inspire each other, get more ideas, and listen to your voice, to the student voice, and get what you need on campus. And I believe like it's working towards the same goal.
Thank you very much. Darius.
Well, I'm just going to be echoing the other candidates, but I really don't think it's about management. I think the role of the president is that person that ensures that the rest of the VPs have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the facilities. So the role of the president is to ensure that he or she sees the bigger picture of the overall goal they're actually moving towards to. So I think the president is going to be that person who's actually ensuring that others have everything they need to succeed and to successfully run the Kent Union.
Thank you very much, Darius. We move over to Zach.
All of the different VP roles and the president all have their own separate jobs, but they'll all blend into one another eventually. So sports VP will eventually have to contact an outside organisation, which kind of falls under the president role. So they all sort of do their separate jobs, and they all join together to help the union. There's no need for there to be too much separation. Everyone can work together, and then the president just acts as sort of a jumping point into the local community and external facilities. Regular meetings would be the main way to keep everything cohesive, and just staying in constant contact and working together.
Thank you very much, Zach. And Rashida.
I think the answer to this is just communicating very well with the other officers. And also, if I am elected, I think it would be a really good idea to have, even though we have our own separate goals, to sit down and create one goal that we can all work on together throughout the year, because I know it's something that's been done with the part-time officers. So you choose something amongst yourselves that you all feel is important to you, and you work on it together, and I think that's better.
Thank you very much, Rashida. And we've got another question here, and it says, with the 50th anniversary of the university coming up, how will you use your role as president to celebrate this milestone for the university? And we will start with Darius.
Well, I think in order to celebrate this, a major event would be necessary. I think it'd be interesting to reflect on the history of Kent, especially for those students who are from abroad, to actually see how this university has developed from a tiny building into what it is today. I think that this could also involve, of course, some sort of cultural events to celebrate the fact that we are so multicultural, that we have over 100 nationalities here, over 100 cultures, so, and each of them are unique, and each of them are actually are together in the same place, in the same university, working together towards a greater goal. So that's literally what it is. I envision an event that would help to review the past history of the university and introduce it to everybody.
Thank you very much. And we move over to Samuel.
Well, there's several ways we can do this. Obviously, throwing various events throughout the year would be a good idea, but I think also if we work together with societies to see what they want to do and how we can assist them in celebrating 50 years of Kent. Things we could do, venue theme nights. In fact, it might be a good idea to do a whole week of celebration where venues open every night just for a special occasion to celebrate the 50th anniversary or something like that. We should mainly focus on asking the students, though, see how they want to celebrate it. Like I say, though, I think societies are the key to making sure it's a big success.
Thank you very much, and we move over to Tammy. How will you celebrate?
I agree that, I agree that this also should be something led by the students and something that the union would support financially and both physically. And yeah, we should just look at what the students want to do. I think so far the work that the university has been doing with their 50th anniversary fund has been great, because it's been offering the opportunity to students to run their own events to celebrate the 50th in their own way. And I think that the union could do a lot to help with this.
Thank you very much. Rashida.
I think it's very important to celebrate the 50th anniversary. I think that it's good for people to know the history of where they are now, and I think that it would be good to have a week of celebrations. Thing is to ask the students, how do you want to celebrate your university and the achievements that your university has done?
Thank you very much. Dimitra, you're next.
I believe in the events as well. In one respect, that we should all celebrate the history of Kent and the fact that so many people got the opportunity to study what they wanted and got out of it, and now they have moved on with their lives and they do hopefully their dream job. But on the other hand, I believe that it would be quite interesting actually to have a survey and decide as a university to help a charity. Like, out of those 50 years, we can support a charity and like say that the University of Kent in this year, they believe that they should support children with cancer, so as to give the opportunity to some children that survive to make it to this university at some point and remember that Kent helped them.
Thank you very much. And we move over to Chris.
Yeah, a lot of people mention about letting students decide, and that's ultimately what's happened this year. And communication may be the issue for those that haven't had the opportunity to hear about it. But there was a pot of £40,000. The university spent £250,000 towards the 50th anniversary, of which £40,000 of that was dedicated to student ideas. Students have inputted, student groups have inputted ideas into that to produce some of those ideas. I'm currently working on a couple myself, a sports day now versus then, and an alumni event. Student media, for example, have secured some money for an interactive screen and various other things. So in terms of, one, potentially communication wasn't great in terms of students that don't necessarily know that, but students have been given the ability to do that. And to continue to do that, the few other things on campus, you will see the Kent Eye, London Eye, Kent's equivalent will be put up on Elliot Hill in September and October. There's plenty of events to come. But most importantly, the thing I want to emphasise is it's not only the university's 50th birthday, Kent Union is 50 as well. And I think as Kent Union President, as much as possibly can to celebrate our 50 years and our history today.
Thank you very much. Dave?
Yeah, I'd like to echo quite a few of Chris's points here, and the main point is that the 50th anniversary has been planned now for a number of years. We've always known when the 50th anniversary was. It's not like we suddenly spring up all these events. So I think a lot of it, as with the sabbatical team and the Voice of Students, is collaborating with the university to make sure that the events that they hold actually represent students now, and ensuring there are events for every student to attend, whether they're a current student or alumni. I think alumni, we have a very, very rich history here. So I think it's important that we set up maybe a project committee led by students that feed in the student voice into what Kent Union does to hold its own events here for the 50th anniversary.
Thank you very much, Dave. And finally, Zach.
There are two very good ways to celebrate the 50th anniversary. The first would be looking back and calling forward the alumni who were there during these 50 years and getting them to participate, help celebrate, put in, give their feedback, and all of that. And then the second way would be to look forward at the next 50 years. So year on year, the union and the university gets better, bigger, more successful. So ensuring the next 50 years will be as successful and we keep growing year on year would be an excellent, excellent goal.
Thank you very much, Zach. Now I think it's time to move on to a couple more individual questions, so that means we are going to move over to Social Media HQ. Kathleen, are you there?
Hi there, yes I am. We've got a question for Rashida this time. You say in your manifesto that this is important for you to build a strong relationship with your students. With more than 19,000 students, how will you do this?
I think the answer's simple. Social media, emails, Facebook, by going out there and meeting them. This is a full-time position. This is not me doing studies at the same time. I will give all my time to this role. And it sounds like a lot of students, but when you put your everything into a role, you can do it. And I can engage with, I will be in the library where I know a lot of students go. I will be in the bars, I will be at venue. And it wouldn't be easy as such, but it will be my priority.
Thank you very much. And great questions coming in today. So, Kathleen, can we have another, please?
Yes, we're moving on to Chris this time. You talk in your manifesto about rewarding students through a loyalty scheme. What would this look like, and why is it one of your main manifesto points?
It's a piece of work that I'm currently working on at the moment, in particular about rewarding members of sports club societies, in particular around Team Kent at the moment. So we're looking potentially to introduce Team Kent loyalty card to those that are currently involved within our sports clubs and various other things. So it's a scheme that's currently ongoing, and it looks very, very positive that it could potentially be rolled out even towards the end of this year, let alone next. And then next year, currently having talks or plans already to widen this scheme to all students from all student groups, not necessarily those that just partake in sports clubs. So almost an activities card or something that will represent those students, but also those that don't necessarily partake in some of our activities, to thank you. I think that's the most important thing. We're thanking our students for buying that sandwich in Essentials or buying that pint in Woodies, because ultimately they are pledging back to Kent Union, putting that fund in. So if there's any way we can do to thank them for their service and thank them for their opportunity and their volunteering, that would be fantastic. But it's a project that I've already started, and it will be done, and it will be rolled out.
Thank you very much, Chris. Kathleen, can we have another question, please?
Yes, we have a question for David this time. Do you think that you misread the student mood when a record-breaking number of students turned up to vote your motion down? And how do you think you can now be a good student representative?
It's a very good question. I think let's talk about the motion first. This was about whether Kent Union should be associated with Student Republic. It was a very controversial motion which was took to the Your Union zone where 164 people came along to discuss it. Now, it was always about raising awareness of the issues that were faced by a number of students that felt discriminated by previous events. And I think that awareness was raised. You know, Student Republic changed their logo to support the Sochi gay rights. That was probably, I would think, directly influenced by what happened with the Your Union motion. So it was always about raising awareness of the issues that are faced by students. And I don't think it was ever about me, and it shouldn't be attributed to me as the role of Union President. I think, I've demonstrated that I'm not afraid to stand up for what I and others believe in, and that's what should be looked at.
Thank you very much, Dave. A very interesting question there. So, Kathleen, do we have any more of those?
Yes, we're moving on to Darius now. How would you give more information and advice on funding sources for your degree in line with having your manifesto point?
Well, obviously the resources are quite widely available in the university already. You've got directories in the library, you've got some information on the Kent's website, Kent Union website, but the problem is that often the books, the directories, not many people know about it. The information on the Kent's website, it can sometimes be fragmented and it's really hard to navigate. So my general idea was to try and put this information together on a single website, specifically dedicated for funding. So it's easier to navigate, it's easier to look for funds. And of course, in addition to support students, I spoke with the Advice Center, and they would be more than happy to help organize advice sessions for anybody who's interested in this alternative funding route.
Thank you very much, Darius. Kathleen, who's next?
It's Tammy next, and her question is, having been the Keen's president for the past year, how do you feel the role has prepared you for potentially being the next Kent Union president?
Well, I think that it's prepared me massively. It's the role that I had as Kane's president that has motivated me to run in this election. And I feel that being a president of a college has given me the opportunity to really understand the students who lived in my college, as in those students who both live there currently and now second and third years no longer live there but still affiliated to the college, still have issues, and I'm still addressed with these issues, and I try my best to fix their problems and make their experience as a Kane student better. And so I feel that being union president, I would just be sort of become a larger role when I'm no longer focusing on just Kane students' problems but the whole of the university. So it's given me past experience.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Kathleen, another question, if you may.
We're moving on to Dimitra now. In your manifesto, you say you will expand Kent's existing campaign. What issues would you campaign for if elected?
I would definitely continue the international body shame, which is launched, I think, this year, and people are promoting it, and I believe that it's worth actually fighting for. But the issue is that on the bodies shame, for example, because I'm speaking about that because I consider it quite important since it's for international students, and we have a large amount of international students that is the first time outside of their home. So actually I want to have a team and so as to help international students also with the attendance in lectures because they're getting monitored, as well as financially to be able to chase university procedure, because the majority of people when coming from another country, they're quite shy and they need time to adjust, and having buddies just like to go to get to the accommodation and everything is really nice, but at the end of the day those people need also additional support.
Dimitra, I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut you off there. You've reached your time. But Kathleen, do you have another good question for us?
Do one for Zach this time. One of your manifesto points is increasing the lecture recordings and online materials. With 9K of fees, would you say that potentially cutting face-to-face contact is giving the best value for money for students?
It depends entirely on the student and the faculty. If it's available, if full lecture recordings are available, there are going to be a couple of students who decide, oh, if it's going to be available, then I don't need to turn up to my lectures. That is entirely not the point of this scheme. The scheme is to bring in, if you can't make 1 week because you have prior engagement, something, it's rare but more important than your lectures, then you need to miss it. In a lot of cases where there'll be courses where people are more likely to not turn up to their lectures, where they think the contact isn't as important, lecture recordings can be available, but not through Moodle. For instance, you can email your lecturer and ask for them with your reason. Them existing doesn't mean they need to be completely open.
Thank you. That was a 10-second warning, but anyway, don't worry about it. Kathleen, can we have another question, please?
We have our last question for Sam. You keep referring to the previous runner-up's manifesto points. Did you vote for him, and how do you know he did his research properly?
No, I didn't actually vote for him in the last elections. I did actually support some other candidates who were running on a reform the union ticket because at the time, I did feel it was more important to involve more students in the union in the first place. I trust he did his research because he had a good team behind him. He was the Labour candidate, if I'm correct, and they do a good job at this sort of thing. So I think I trust the research mainly because the people who put it together do a good job most of the time.
Thank you very much, Samuel. So we're going to move back over to the group questions, and what I have on my card is as follows. What would you define as being the most important element of being union president? And we're going to start with Chris.
The most important element, a voice for students. You're that one figure you're that one student in most of the time that will sit in those most important university meetings where the executive group that are on X salary are talking about the big fundamental issues that are going to affect your time at university. And you are the one sole representative for 20,000 students in that room, and that's ultimately the most, the pivotal, most important role while you're there, to be that voice for students at the most important time. In that role, I will speak to students and sit in that room with an informed and educated decision based upon what they chose and what they made.
Thank you very much, Chris. We pass it over to Zach.
As union president, you are sort of the megaphone for all students, where all students have their voice and everything filters its way up to you, and you must represent every student that has come forward and given their opinion. The union is here to support you for your entire time at university and fight for your rights, and the president is at the forefront of that. The president represents you directly to everyone who needs to hear your voice. That's the role of president to me.
Thank you very much, Zach. So we're going to pass it over to Dimitra.
I believe that representation is the most important thing. On the people that have supported Kent Union until now, because there is a very fine line between representing the voice of the students and keeping good connections with all the media sources and everyone that has supported us until now.
Thank you very much, Dimitra. We pass it over to Dave.
Okay, yeah, everything that's been mentioned here is what the union president role is about. It's about a visible face around campus and someone that a student can turn to raise a concern with the University Council. Not only that, it's ensuring that the views of all students, no matter your differences, are accurately represented, and there are events that cater to every student. You know, as a role of president, you're on the board of trustees, so you are financially responsible for the actions of the union. So you have a legal responsibility to make sure that the union is making decisions for the interests of public benefit and all students. So I think you need to have someone that isn't afraid to stand up for what they believe in and what students want to have at the union.
Thank you very much, Dave. Samuel, what's the most important thing about being president to you?
I think it's knowing what the students want, actually getting out, talking to them and finding out their views. I mean, people are talking, the other candidates are mentioning that it's about being a voice for the students, and it's true, it is. I spoke to the actual current president just before this, and she said she's been stuck in meetings 9 till 5, and she's the only student in the room, and that's what the job's all about. But to be the voice of the students, you actually have to know the students. And I would intend to use my free time after the ridiculous day of meetings or whatever, actually going out and hanging out in the bars and going around campus and being available for students to come and talk to. Because only by knowing the opinions of the students that I'm representing can I actually be a voice for the students and do the job properly.
Thank you very much. Tammy?
Yeah, I agree with what most of the candidates have already said, that the fact that we are, as union president, you would be the voice of the students, and you need to accurately know what the students want. You can't just make a guess, and that's why you need people that are there to represent the students, which is why part-time officers are vital. And I think that it's important to invest in our part-time officers so that all students can be accurately represented, because as union president, you can't you can't physically speak to everyone. You can't physically get the opinions of absolutely everyone, which is why the part-time officers are vital for this. And through them, you can try and understand what the students want and communicate that to the university, to the community, and on a national level, if need be.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Rashida?
I think there's a lot of focus on being a voice and trying to fix people's problems, but I think what the most important thing about being president would be is actually giving your voice to other people, letting them know who they can speak to and letting them know that they can speak for themselves. I think that would be very important. I don't want to be a fixer, I want to be a facilitator. I want to give my confidence to other people so that they know that their views are just as important as mine.
Thank you very much, Rashida, and we're going to finish off with Darius. So,
well, I think if I had to pick one quality, it would be awareness. So actually being aware what students want, being aware what students need, what kind of hardships they are facing at the moment. But it's also important to understand how to solve those problems, be aware what's the best solution. Because yes, we are all students, but at the same time there are mature students, there are international students, so they will be facing different problems. And even the same problem may affect them in different ways. So it's the ability to actually distinguish between these different groups and find the best solution that help this particular group, because I firmly believe there is no one-size-fits-all solution. So it's the awareness of the problem and the awareness of the best solution to solve it.
Thank you very much, Darius. Okay, now guys, we're moving on to the final question, so it's nearly all over, but the card reads quite simply. This is my favourite question throughout the whole 3-day process, which is, sorry, I'll keep the suspense going. Why did you decide to run for president in the first place? And we shall start with Tammy.
Okay, so I started volunteering as a welcome helper at the beginning of my second year, which then led me to become part of the Keynes College Committee, which then led me to become Keynes president. And throughout my experience of volunteering here at the university, I have loved every minute of it, and it's just made me want to do more and try to improve what I can and try and just improve the university experience for students. And I believe that as union president, I can do so much more than I have been able to do so far. And I feel that this will give me the opportunity to achieve all those changes that I think that would really benefit the university and the students that belong to it.
Thank you very much, Tammy. We move over to Dave.
When I first came to university, I actually worked a week before. I was working in the city. I was a sales manager before I came to university. A week later, I was suddenly here at university. The change happened. You know, I can't comprehend how quickly it ever happened. The first couple of months I was here, I was very isolated and alone. I didn't really fit in with the people I was living with, and I actually had depression, diagnosed by the doctors. But what happened was I got a job at the union via job shop, and it changed me. I became happy. It's where I found my happiness. And I want to make sure that every student, no matter what their differences are, have a chance to find their happiness here at Kent Union. I ran for the role because next year is very, very important for the university. I'm not afraid to stand up for what I believe in, and I feel that I'm at this point in time where I've actively campaigned as a part-time officer to change a community, and I want to continue that change in a full-time basis.
Thank you very much. Darius.
Well, volunteering is a big part of my life. I've volunteered in different NGOs. I've been a course representative during my bachelor's degree. I was the course representative during my first year here in Kent. I've run societies before, and this opportunity is a step upwards. It's a new challenge. It's a way to, you know, show my wish to improve this university, to actually help the students. It's an opportunity to actually put my ideas forward, because I can hear what the students are disagreeing with. I can hear their problems, but there's not much I can do unless I actually am elected as a president. And I think that this is the best. I think this is the best opportunity in my life to actually show what I can do.
Thank you very much, Samuel. What drew you to presidency?
Well, the main reason I was running was because of the ridiculous increase in the price of beer. I'll explain fully why. I'll give you a bit of a story. I went up to Durham, where my brother is, and we went to his college bar. They charge about £1.60 a pint in there, That's the cheapest one. The most expensive, £2.40. That's only 10 pence more expensive than our cheapest one. And you can get Guinness for £2.20 or something like that. I think it's ridiculous that the prices are so much higher down here, particularly when you consider that there's no real change in the tax, and I can't understand why the price of beer would be more expensive. So I was running primarily on that. We've then discussed with other people, and we've got together a few other points, and like I said, I've been going to the zones for about the last year now, and I don't feel that they're well enough advertised, or that students are engaged enough in the union, and that's why I keep saying that the main thing I want to do is just actually find out what the main student body wants. At the moment, as far as I can tell, they're all concerned about the fact that they haven't got any money because too much of it's going on the Friday night out, and I want to change that.
Thank you very much, Dimitra.
Okay, my story is a little different. I left home when I was 18 after my high school, and I took a year out in London within the University of the Arts, dancing at that point. Then I had a law degree in the University of Wales, where I was standing as chair of the law department for all 3 years. It's a pretty good place to be. I had enjoyed every single second of it. And that's why I'm putting up for president, because I have ideas. I had the time to be in university, to see how things work in reality. And I'm here to take what we got a step further and get some things for this union as well and the people that are here.
Thank you very much. Zach.
The entire time I've been at university, the union has supported me. In my first year, when I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my degree, I went to the Student Advice Centre, they put everything straight, they showed me all of my options, and then I went forward with that. That was great. When I wanted to play sport, everything is funded and supported by the uni. When I needed a job, I joined Essentials and then later Venue and Supervisor and got all of this extra training, which has helped my CV greatly. The union has provided me with nothing but support and opportunities, and I just want to make the union more successful and bigger and better and offer this sort of opportunity to everyone else who falls under the union banner.
Thank you very much. Chris.
Why am I running? Well, I'm running for you. Every single student that's ultimately out there, this is not for myself. If you speak to anyone who knows me, I will sacrifice myself for others, and I'll do all I possibly can to make you happy, to put a smile on your face. As I mentioned earlier in my speech, and I've recently made a video regarding it, I struggled to open the door during my first year. I was scared what was on the other side, and I was given a lifeline. I was given an opportunity to open that door and see what was on the other side. And I've run with it since, and I find myself sitting here, Vice President of Sport as we currently stand, and running to be the Kent Union President. And I believe everyone should be given the same opportunity as I was, to find a club, to find a friend, to find a society or a student group that means something to them and they feel an integral part of. Regardless of your background, where you're from, or whatever happens in your life, everyone deserves the same opportunity. And ultimately that's why I'm running to be Kent Union President, running for you, to give you that opportunity.
Thank you very much, Chris. And finally, Rashida, the last word, please.
I'll be honest, my first 2 years here, I saw things that I didn't like, but I never said anything. I just got on with it. And at the beginning of my third year, 2 people from Kent Union approached me and gave me a voice. They gave me backing, and they encouraged me to become ethnic minorities officer. And so from that, I saw that I wasn't the only one who felt marginalised, and that is why I'm running, because I feel like Kent Union do a great job, but there are people who do not feel they're represented.
So well done, candidates. You've had a fantastic day today. It was very well done. And thank you very much to the audience as well. You've also been an absolute pleasure. Now, while this is the end for candidate question time this year, it isn't the end of the elections. Oh no, the results night is next Friday. It's on the 14th, and we will be back up here broadcasting live, talking to the new VPs and also the new president. But I'd like to send a massive thank you over to Social Media HQ, but I'm being told, Kathleen, you have a couple of thank yous to say yourself.
I do indeed. Unfortunately, that is it from us this evening. I would like to say a big thank you to my team, the candidates, and of course you at home for sending in your questions. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook, and we'll see you on the 14th.
That's absolutely right. Do remember to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and on YouTube as well. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Candidate Question Time for 2014. Thanks again to the candidates. You've been fantastic. And thanks again for you for watching. My name's been Barnaby Chadwick. This is KTV, broadcasting live from the new KTV studio. Goodbye.